First thing I want to go into is navigation. We've moved, the left-hand nav has disappeared. Instead, we've moved it to the top, which is Fusion. And the same menus are still here. I actually had to restart the system. It's actually performing pretty well. So, all your same menus will come over. There's nothing you have to do once you put down the tools. Tools release, it'll just work. Open applications are still there. It's a drop down now. Recent reports I will get to. That's pretty exciting. And favorites. We've enhanced the favorites. So now you can favorite task folders, not just tasks, which is great. If we go into manage favorites, you'll see that I've now got a new folder button. So I can now organize my favorites as an end user. So now I have a folder I can organize my favorites. Okay. Now we get to the exciting part of our new navigation paradigm. We've introduced this thing called the carousel. The carousel itself, we have open applications, we have recent reports, and we have favorite tabs. So if I run something, like I should, I'm an ex-tools guy, so I only know 2 applications. Tools and sales or entry. You notice down the bottom, they're starting up. The dark one is the one that's currently in focus. You can personalize the carousel by making the icon smaller if you like. Make them bigger just so we can see. You can move it. Oops. I wasn't supposed to do that yet. You can move all these things around, they bounce. I keep doing that. I'm really bad at it. There we go. That's pretty cool. You can change the order of running apps if you like me. Before Windows 7 came out, I used to get annoyed if Outlook crashed and I started up again. It was now the 4th application on my list, but I always wanted to be the first. So we insisted that we can reorder these. So it's in the order that you want. You'll notice we've got a little bit of bouncing, Newtonian motion, Govinda's favourite saying. So,
are those predefined icons, or you can define your own?
You can define your own Google Ship icons. There's actually an XML file that is a cross-reference. You can define it at system code level, at application level, and I think that's it, and a default. We'll spend a lot of time trying to come up with icons. It's actually a funny story. We'd have a meeting and we'd spend 55 minutes talking about icons and 5 minutes about everything else we had to talk about every time. So it's hard. It really is hard. So now you can move it to be in the left-hand nav position, and all of these collapse and open and all this sort of lovely jubbly stuff. You can move it to the top, which I don't know, I think silly, but we let you do it. Why not? And you can move it to the right. So we figured with wide screens as well. You know, people do want to move things to the left and the right now. I'm missing something. I was going to say, you can obviously collapse it if you don't want it. And then if you don't want the tabs there, you can hide the tabs and things like that. Have I missed anything on carousel? No, not this one. Cool. So the next thing I'm going to move on to, if we're all done with that, is recent reports. So I mentioned earlier that viewing your PDFs and everything is a little cumbersome currently. So the first thing we have done, and I've actually got to switch this one, because the ESU never got put on that environment. This is just to prove that it really is a development environment. I've got to switch between different environments, different levels of code. I should have logged in earlier. Okay. So you'll notice in the drop down there's green ticks. If we go to the carousel, you notice this little green corner. That means it's done. Status of D. If it's processing, it's blue, and if it's in error, it's red. I don't have any blue or red examples here, but trust me, it works. So And now if you want to look at my report, we've got all these nice holders that tell us a bit more about it, burden information, etc. They submitted and all that sort of stuff. If I click on that, this is actually a developer's machine that I'm running on, so I apologise. This was what we did before. Anyway, while that's going, when I come on it, work with server jobs will pop up. With that job selected, it will perform the default action. And the default action now, and somebody could clap if they want when I say this, no longer shows you that stupid information screen. It actually launches the PDF.
Or a CSV or a BIP.
Or CSV, or if it's a BIP report, it will actually go to the first screen if it's bursted. So we try and put some context there for you. Yep, we finally figured out that when you want to view a PDF, you actually want to view a PDF.
So what if you want to review along with the job?
You can still do that from the row exits. They are there.
Simply right click and view.
Here we go, finally. So, this is launching my PDF automatically for us. Okay. The other thing we have done for this is that if you actually run the Work with Server Jobs application, something is what on earth is this? Not the right
Grid is just.
well, grid format's changed. Here we go. I love this JDEdwards. Okay. So you notice, if you are familiar with this application, normally what comes up is a list of your server data sources that you have to select. So you've got to guess, where is my report run, right? We've got rid of that and we're going to default you into your user's default data source. They can actually go and change the data source using the form exit now. But hopefully that's going to help. So people are going to come straight into here. We'll just try to make it a little more usable. As I said before, if I double click, it's going to launch a PDF if it's a PDF job. If I click the view output, it's going to launch a PDF if it's a PDF job, right? Print, obviously, and even here, if I click this link, it's going to launch here. So hopefully we're getting closer to making the users happy as far as report usability. Okay. So, what was next on my list?
What's your question? Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Is there a way to take away that pop-up to open PDF? You have to answer open.
That's the browser setting, so it'll depend on browser. I think IE says, say, remember this action or something, so there's nothing we can do about it. So, yeah.
Did you say too, like it's a BI publisher job, it opens up the BI publisher job?
Yes, if it's a bursted report, it should open up the app that shows you the bursting. If it's a standard report, I think it should display it directly. I think.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
What it's supposed
Yes,
to do.
that.
Yes.
Okay. Where was? I forgot what I was supposed to be doing. As I said, this presentation came together about 2 minutes ago. So, enhanced query. I thought that's where we were going. So you'll notice up here on the top right, we have this query with a drop down. It says all records right now. This is going to turn up on any find browse that you have. So if I want to, let me launch 4210. Okay, we've got tests, and all records. So what I want to do is create, well, today is called a save query, but we're calling it enhanced query. It's a brand new feature. So I can open up this panel, and now I can start building a query down here. So there's two ways you can do it. You can either start pressing the plus, and it's going to bring over that field over here. You can put in your M30, right? But then I'm like, okay, well maybe I've already filled out stuff, like the order type's already here. I can press the move over all button, and it's going to replace it with the query that I may have already had there. So just let me add the branch plumb back again. Okay. So you'll notice order types, we've got all this stuff. Equals, not equal, starts with it, blank is not blank. readable things that hopefully the user community can understand. If I add a numeric, you'll notice there you can use header filter fields or QBE styles, anything that's part of the primary business view on the board. The numeric has got a few, numeric symbols, and then we start to get to the cool stuff, dates. So a date, you've got all this less than, equal to, etc. But when you go down here, you can say today plus minus values, plus days, months, and years. So you can set this query up.
Finally.
It's got nothing to do with this one. So you can set this query up and run it every day. You can provide columns dynamically. You don't have to go to customized grid. You notice as soon as I hit the column, just as it does today when you do the reordering and resizing, the save button came up. I can just save it, and my grid format is done. Very nice. If I want to unhide it, I get a list of all the hidden columns. Again, don't have to go to the customized grid. What did I just hide, by the way? Probably something important. Fire me later. So that's cool. So now the next thing, freeze. You notice this little blue line has just turned up where I selected freeze. So now if I scroll, only the right hand side is scrolling. It works just like Excel. All that sort of stuff. So then when we get into the next part of freeze, is the freeze and auto return. Now, I don't think there's data set up in the system, so I'll probably get an error. I did. So you've now frozen here on the item number. So if I'm tabbing, here we go. 220. If I press tab now, it's going to go to the next row. It's not going to carry on past the frozen area. You can actually enter in the frozen area, but it's not. But if you're using tab, it's not going to keep moving across. Which I think will be great for some of the data entry people. Right now, I know it seems simple, but people get annoyed that you tab, and then you have to return. So if you're really trying to go fast, that's actually a hard thing to do. Cool. Okay, modal search and select. As you can see, we've been very busy with this release, and we're very proud of it. We're really, really excited. I think this is going to go a long way to helping JDEdwards, just our existing community. Sales, I think this is going to really help start selling as well. So modal search and select. Of course, it's generating. So this typically would have replaced your whole screen, right? Would have gone to that new address book search form. So now, because we know it's from a visual assist, we're just going to pop it up at the FDA design time size, so it's not going to completely overtake the screen. Just a small thing, but it really does make a big difference when you're trying to use it.
And you can move it around.
Oh yes, you can move it around. You can move that sort of stuff, which is all good. Now we get on to stuff that I can demo in here. Let me go through. Oh, actually, this actually reminds me of something. So when we talked about the modernization, so this is P4210 898, right? So you'll see here, this doesn't line up. Oh, here we go. So that doesn't line up. It looks a little clunky. All the controls are overly stretched. It's what we call elongation. Now with widescreens, the thought was that all these fields are becoming ridiculously wide. So you notice the solve to 4242 is in there, if you can see it. That's twice as wide as what the field can actually contain. Right? We had somebody, I can't remember who it was, someone accused me of saying it, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't me, who said it looked cartoonish. That wasn't really a good thing for us. As soon as we heard that, we're like, yeah, we're going to have to change this. We really don't want our product looking cartoonish. And the toolbar, clunky, big, taking up a lot of real estate. I know Microsoft has gone back to that big toolbar at the top. We don't like it, so we got rid of it. Just because Microsoft does it doesn't mean it's right. So this is an example of what it is now. So you'll notice the Oracle skin, as we've talked about. We're able to automatically line up controls. There's a whole complex calculation about what we can and cannot do, but this wasn't a FDA change. This was a tools level change decided that based on how the control layout is, we can line them up for you automatically. Small thing, but I think it goes a long way. We've compressed, so these fields now, the detail fields are in the FDA design time size. They no longer get stretched. So it's actually compressing a wee bit, which is nice. Just a lot crisper, a lot cleaner. And the toolbar, we've simplified it. We actually did take something out of Microsoft book for this. There's the buttons that you use every day that you know about. So we've taken away the word. I think it's pretty obvious that indexes are closed to a JDEdwards user, right? So we've just sort of taken away some of those words and we've moved the words for the non-standard type things to the right, as you can see. It's just a lot cleaner, a lot crisper. Cool. And I've got to find where I'm up to. No one has told me to do this yet. Oops. Page that you'll get when you apply this tools release. It automatically detects what apps release you're running. 9.0. And way down the bottom here, it's automatically telling us what service pack we're on for the tools release. So what we have done here, essentially in here, you can put any external URL. Sounds a little familiar to the RIAF stuff. Or we've given you the ability to create your own content and show it inside these home pages. They're called EnterpriseOne pages. I'm not supposed to call them home pages. But, so here's an example of a EnterpriseOne page, and it's a flow, order to cash. Behind this is very simple HTML, right? What we've also done is we've given you some JavaScript helpers. So on the click, this is going to launch sales order entry. Very, very simple JavaScript helper. Now if I can find it really quickly, where did I put it? Yeah. So this is a very simple welcome page. It was created with 4 icons on it. And each icon we wanted to be clickable. This is everything that's behind that. Right? Simple HTML. This is the page helper that we supply you. And here, on click, run E1 app, form, version, all that other good stuff. And then, as well, we've given you helpers for running UVEs. This one's a blind execution, so you can specify to run UVs blind and don't have to go through all the data selection screens and all that sort of good stuff. So that's very simple. What we've then done is created a we've created a simple, and I don't really want to say OW like, it's a simple LCM tool that allows you to upload these to your environment by barcode. There is some very basic tracking. We do have activity rules, but a simplified version of those, which you can define out of the box. I don't know how many we have, 4 or something. Yeah. Develop, test, that sort of stuff. And then that will upload to the server, it's stored in the database, and then when the Jazz server calls it, it deserializes it down in the Jazz server and starts working. So the next thing we have, where's the forwards? Here we go. So here we have, and I should have done this earlier because this is having to sign on to a slow VIP server in the office. You can link VIP in here. You can link Web Center Spaces in here. You can link any external URL. I presume this is oracle.com. Here we go. Right. So you can put your intranet site. You can link it in here. You could create a page that when open enrollment happens, that people are going to see. You assign them by user, by role, start public, all that sort of stuff. When the user is using them, cool animations, right? It's nice full flow. If I logged out, it's going to remember that I was on recruit to hire, right? And it does also understand what role you're running. So if I change roles, these group of tabs would change. If I'm in staff public, it's going to show everything based on all my roles. If I'm signed in as a specific role, it's just going to show me that role. What I miss on the global page? Nothing?
Collapse.
Oh, collapse. Sorry. So you can just collapse it. Again, nice motion.
Rearranging the tabs.
Oh, wow. You can rearrange them. Again, as I said earlier, if they're not in the right order, I get annoyed. So I can put them in any order I want. And again, it's going to persist that. Next time I log in, it's going to remember what order they were in. Cool. And with that, time's up. So, any questions?
You gonna clap for yourself, Darryl?
Yeah.